Watch this next video. That is, if you don't believe that anybody could start a business anywhere, anytime, with money, without money, whatever. It's possible nowadays, and it's more possible now than ever before. I mean, back when I grew up in the 50s or even the 60s, man, to start a business, you needed, a store or something, to sell something. Now you don't. I mean, a store costs you tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now an internet costs you $100. This is what's changing in our world. You don't need all that stuff to start a business. And here's a fellow I want you to meet who's a student in his dorm room that started a business. And it was a service business. So making money right as he was a student. See, anybody could do this. The only thing you really need in starting a business is a customer. Everything else, you'll figure it out. The hardest thing is getting a customer. If you concentrate on that, you don't need experts and all the other nonsense that other experts will tell you need. You don't. You just need a customer. So watch this young fella who, in his dorm room, started his own business. Oh, great, Kristen. Give me your name. So we got that.
All right. My name is Christian Brown.
And what's the company you have, Kristen?
I own Exterminators Technologies. We specialize in personal computer repair, and we offer small and medium business IT solutions.
So you help folks with many small and medium business solutions. Now you're a student, is that right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Where?
I'm currently, in August, I'll be entering my junior year at Mississippi State University.
Mississippi State. What city is that in?
Starkville, Mississippi.
Starfield?
Yes, sir.
Are you affected by the weather down there with all this stuff going on?
Actually, yeah, we were. We had a few power outages. There was a few tornadoes surrounding the cities, but luckily we didn't get hit with anything.
So you started this IT business like in your dorm room or something, or what?
Actually, it's a funny story. My grandfather actually wanted me to work. I'm here on academic scholarship, which means I get a grant every semester, meaning that I didn't have to work. He's a hardworking man, and he felt that I should be the same. So my sophomore year, I started working for Dell as a representative, as a technician. And they were charging $250 to talk to me. If you have a Dell computer and you call Dell, you speak to someone overseas. But for $250, you could talk to me. So I saw a business opportunity.
Wow! So they were paying you maybe $20 an hour or something like that, and
$10 an hour.
$10 an hour, and they charge $200. So you saw the opportunity.
There you go. I started to do it on the side, and then I got more and more calls about it, and I started doing it full time in December 2010.
You started doing full time?
Yeah, I started. Exterminators became a full time job in December.
Wow. What happened to school?
I'm still in school, still a full-time student, still a full-time business owner.
Really? Good for you. Grandfather happy now?
Yeah, he's happy. He's off my back. He's real supportive.
Listen, so to start this idea, what kind of help did you get?
I got great help from, we have an entrepreneurship center here at Mississippi State, the Thad Cochran Entrepreneurship Endowment Center.
I see.
And as a student, it's not hard to do homework. So I did some more homework, and I found our branch of the Small Business Administration and the Development Center.
I see. So the Small Business Development Center is right there on the campus, huh?
Yes, sir.
And that's for students or anybody in the neighborhood, right?
That's for everybody in the neighborhood. And we were just lucky enough that they partnered with our university.
I see. And what did they do for you?
Basically just one of the person who's over the SBDC, he's almost taken me under his wing. He's become like an advisor to me. And he's just giving me a lot of advice, great advice.
Wonderful. So they help you like with the planning or filling out forms? Did you need financial assistance or anything, or what?
They help me fill out plans and forms, but a lot of the Thad Cochran Entrepreneurship Endowment Center, they're the center who's helped me with a lot of forms and paperwork as well. A man by the name of Gerald Nelson, he has done the same. And financial assistance, I'm 19 years old, so obviously I couldn't qualify for a loan. And I just had to do a lot of bootstrapping. I reinvested profits. I invested my scholarship money, and it's grown.
So you just bootstrapped the whole thing with your own finances, so to speak. Got all the.
I had to bootstrap the whole thing. I found one investor from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a family friend of ours. He's retired NFL. He worked in the offices of the NFL for a while. So he's invested for 20% of the company.
Really? Oh, I see. Well, that's great. And so all the technical help, like the management help or legal problems, stuff like that, you were able to get from the local Small Business Development Center?
There you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, wow. Huh. And is it self-supporting now already?
It is self-supporting a little bit. We did our soft launch in January. Like I said, we're just doing personal computers, and we do a few small businesses. But in August, our website will be going up. It should be up in about an hour, actually.
Really?
And in August, we'll have our launch of our first retail store.
Oh, retail store online. What are you going to be selling? PCs?
We actually sell the service. We sell the technicians.
Ah, I see. Wow. So you're going to be online. So you started this with hardly any money, bootstrapped it, got all the technical help you need from a government program that gives you this kind of stuff. And these people took you over the wing and really helped you out through the whole thing. And your kid, 20 years old, didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur, huh?
Exactly. There you go. We in order to get some of our funds, we in Starkville, Mississippi, a friend and I, we actually started hosting events for the local clubs, and we would throw parties, and we would use the money from the parties, and I'd invest my share in my company.
I see.
Right. We threw I think we threw a back to school party. And we buy the door, we promote it, and we receive all the door.
And that's like a decent little business too, huh?
Definitely, it definitely is a decent little business. We're actually keeping that going.
I see. So that's helping you support that's helping you support your IT business, huh?
Well, actually, the IT business is almost self-sufficient now.
Wow.
Just a whole side venture.
And that's just like in 5 months you got this thing going, huh?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to worry when you graduate about getting a job, huh?
No, sir. No, sir.
You're going to be hiring your friends by then.
Hopefully. We're going to do our first hire in August, actually.
Really? Oh, good for you. That's wonderful. Well, what kind of advice would you give to other 20-year-olds who are sitting in their dorm room saying, boy, I'm going to graduate, won't be able to get a decent job, nobody's hiring, I'll have to be a barista at Starbucks or something?
The advice I give to them is if you're already a student, so it's not difficult to do your homework. All of my free time, I'm reading Entrepreneur Magazine, I'm Wall Street Journal. I just finding success stories and seeing what people did and what they didn't do that led to success or failure.
Wow. And the free help that's available, I guess, was helpful to you.
Definitely. Advice that's priceless. From somebody who's been there and somebody who's done it. The Small Business Development Center has been great. A lot of universities have entrepreneurship centers.
Right. And
all you have to do is listen.
Yeah, no, I think they're the best deal that the government has. These small business development centers. Whether you're an inventor or an entrepreneur or trying to grow your business, anything. Well, what you ought to think about too now is getting government contracts. They have more, probably buy more IT services than anybody.
Right. Like I said, that should be our next step. We're looking forward to expanding again in January. One thing I was scared of is expanding too fast.
Right. Absolutely.
Rapidly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice problem, though. Wow. So you think you just have to have the desire and do the research. I mean, it takes some effort, right?
Yeah.
It's 90% follow through. I wouldn't say it's a hard process. It's just resilience.
Yeah.
All follow through.
Like anything, like getting a date, like anything. So you're going to keep the business in Mississippi? Is that home for you?
I'm actually from Dallas, Texas.
Ah. So you'll be going back there after graduation?
I'm not even sure yet, wherever it takes me.
I see. Wherever the business is. Is that how you got hooked up with Dell? Aren't they in Dallas? Where are they from?
It was actually a smaller satellite center in Starkville, Mississippi.
I see. Wow. So they hire you for $10 an hour and rent you out for 200. That's business. Huh? Now you find your buddies, hire them for $15. You could outdo Dell, and sell them for $100, and you're making a lot of money. Well, you're a terrific person and a great personality, Christian. Keep us in mind if we can help you in some way in anything. And thanks for touching base. And we'll have this up on the website. I'll send you a copy of this stuff too, so you could use it on your website or any way you want. And that's it. Do you know my work at all? Or what?
I'm definitely familiar with Matthew Lesko, the question mark guy.
That means as a student, you're staying up late at night watching infomercials, getting drunk, and cursing at me. I didn't understand. Now, I got kids your age, and when I go on campus, everybody knows me. They don't buy anything, but they know me. Right. Well, if it helps you inspire to do something you want to do in life, that's the best thing. I mean, that's what's so great about this country, I think. Look at people like a 20-year-old like you could do what you want, and an old idiot like me could dress like I want and be successful. Well, you keep going, Christian, and thanks for talking to me.
Thank you so much for interviewing me, sir.
Yeah. Now, I think we're coming into a new era of education. My one boy who's a little out there kind of thing. I mean, I would say that he taught himself everything. Instead of going to classes, he was able to teach himself everything. He hardly went to classes and was in engineering and math and stuff like that. And now, most people I talk with that have done things and made businesses out of products they designed, they weren't engineers. They didn't learn how to do this stuff in school. They taught themselves because they wanted to do it. Just the desire to want to do it. And now, this next video, you see, will help somebody teach you how to code like games, 3D computer games, because you want to do it. They said easy, anybody could do it, and that's where we're leading to. Instead of going to a school somewhere, getting a degree in it. No, with a desire, we can all learn how to do things in life. And that's what it takes, desire. So something you really want to learn, you'll figure it out. And actually for coding, being able to code nowadays, I mean, for every job, actually there's 5 jobs available for everyone who can fulfill it. So we're needing people who know how to computer code so badly in our country. You think it's going to Europe or going to China or going to India. No, it's here. We can't get enough coders here. So here's a way, you could go online and take courses yourself. They're easier, more fun, because nobody has to deal with a bureaucracy, to make it boring. Anytime you have to deal with a big organization, you're going to bore the hell out of the thing you're doing, right? If it's yourself thinking of a fun way to do it and don't have to answer to anything but the end customer like you make it fun because that's what you would want to do. So that's why this era that we live in now, that everyone can learn themselves without having to go to some huge institution to learn it. And so coding is a wonderful skill we all need, even as for personal or to start a whole new career. So here's a guy who got really $70,000 on the internet, to show people how to code themselves with no background, no engineering degree, no degree at all, or whatever. You just want to learn, so watch him. Well, Ben Tristram, and you're with CompleteUnityDeveloper.com. But more importantly, it looks like you have an interesting life. Not only have you created a product where people can teach themselves coding computer games, right, in 3D, you figured out how to get, almost $60,000, on the internet to help you start that business of your course. When you only thought you needed like $6,000, and the people were said, "Hey, Ben, you're stupid. You need 60. You don't need 6." So really, well, let's talk about the course first, because that's interesting. So this is a course that anybody. I mean, I don't have to need a computer science degree to teach myself this stuff.
No, we are starting basic, real basic, with the programming. If you're willing to learn, if you're willing to go over the obstacles, you can learn to code. Your biggest obstacle is going to be yourself, right? When you do this,
Right.
anybody who can read and who's got half a brain could do it. The question is, are they going to get in their own way? So if you're willing to do the difficult work and to get out of your own way, then we will make sure the learning journey is like this. It starts shallow and gets steep. So yeah, anybody in principle can do it.
Well, I mean, the older I get, the more I see that's really true, because I look around and look at all the idiots doing cool things. You know, I mean, they're not brilliant. They're not Einsteins. They just took the time to figure it out. So that's what the rest of us have to do. We don't have to spend big money. And like your course is $200, but right now, because you're not finished with the last chapter or two, people could use it for like under $50, right? And start learning this, and within 60 days or 30 days, it'll all be there by the time you get to chapter 5 or 6 or whatever it is. So it's online you use this, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an online course. You sit down, you study at your own pace. And we're just rewarding people for coming in earlier. The earlier they invest in the course, the cheaper they get it, because we get really, really useful feedback. So the 1,500 people who backed that Kickstarter, most of them are already in the course now, and they're watching it, they're consuming it, they're giving us feedback, they're reviewing it with 4- and 5-star reviews, mainly 5-star. And it's great. And that feedback we get means we can set the path for the rest of the course without kind of making big batch mistakes. If we've done something wrong, they tell us real quick. They're really keen to tell us, and we fix it.
And so I get a big deal, you know, by being helpful for you too, by complaining if something's wrong, which you want to hear, right? So you could fix it.
Absolutely, and because it's early enough to fix it, we actually can immediately turn around and respond and fix it. So the quality now, because of all this feedback, is just going through the roof. So it's already the biggest and already the highest quality course on game development on Udemy, and Udemy is the biggest online learning platform that I know of. So it's cool. I'm really pleased with it so far.
Well, what's interesting to me is that it's your clients and customers that really make you smart in this world, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they tell you, if you're out there and you have customers, they tell you what they want. Here you sit, you know, before you start something, you're guessing, and you ask your mother-in-law, and she doesn't know, or gives you something stupid you can't use. And so you're going out with customers. But now the other part of your life is this your first venture in fundraising on the internet?
Yes, first Kickstarter. Yep, we didn't think about it very long. We just said, look, no point in making a course unless we know people want it. So let's check if they want it. Let's stick up a very ropey video on Kickstarter and see if there's interest. And there was 10 times more interest than we could have even hoped for. So, but yeah, it's my first venture, and I learned a lot from it. Certainly glad I did it.
Now, the video is a cute, wholesome, and authentic video. Did you have like a big production company help you with that, or things like that?
Absolutely not. No. I used the webcam I'm talking to you now on, right?
Really? That's it, huh?
We did actually plan to re-record it. When it got past $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, we were like, this video doesn't suit anymore. But my partner, my business partner, he had a family emergency. He was in France.
So, in other words, so you said your partner was in France, so you couldn't re-record it, and so you just left it as it is, and you got $60,000 no matter what it is. Why'd you want to change it? I mean, that seems silly.
Exactly, that's true. It's just nerves, right?
Right. But now, so what other advice do you have for people that, hey, I think I want to use this crowdfunding Kickstarter stuff or whatever, but you know, I'm afraid. So, what do you think they should know?
Okay, well. Firstly, pick your platform, right? Just understand that this is advice I'm giving, but I didn't use. So I didn't understand anything about the market. The only one I'd heard of was Kickstarter. And if what you're offering is less than a few $100s and is to consumers and is of international appeal, just go ahead with Kickstarter. I don't think you need to look any further. If you're going business to business, I probably wouldn't expect you to do so well on Kickstarter. If it's not of international appeal, again, you've got to think if Kickstarter's right. So, but certainly for business to consumer, relatively cheap products or services or rewards, great, Kickstarter's cool. Well, there's a lot more to Kickstarter than crowdfunding.
Right. No, there's like 1,000 of these things now. So what do you think was the thing that you wish you knew now, if you started again, that you would do differently?
I guess I wish I knew the potential of it, is the answer.
Really?
you see, we went to the national press when it started getting a bit more interesting and said, could you cover this? And they said, we'd cover it if the figures were a bit higher. And it's like, well, if you covered it, the figures would be a bit higher. You know what I'm saying?
Chicken and the egg.
I wouldn't necessarily have aimed a lot higher instead of our initial goal, because I think there's a lot to be said for being past your goal. Once you're past your goal, you're in some golden zone where it's self-fulfilling, it's clearly already won, and there's the momentum builds. But I certainly think that I would have talked about bigger numbers to the press earlier. And the Kickstarters that end up doing really well, you often see them in the press, even on their first day, right? They're in the press.
Exactly, yeah, right.
So get a quirky angle on it, I think, and get the press interested so they can cover it almost from the first day.
Now, did you hire a publicist or marketing thing? No,
nobody. Just did it myself.
Just did yourself. So like your course, anybody could learn if they take the time.
Yeah, sure. Just look, it's a popular subject, learning to code. I found the nearest other successful Kickstarter and copy and pasted it precisely. And then I changed only what I had to change to make it ours. And then we talked to our backers a lot. We have over 500 comments on there. We responded to them quickly. We did what they asked for. We kept the excitement going. And the momentum just carried on. Every day I spent a little bit of time going onto Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other places, and asking if they minded if I shared the campaign in their groups. And people were very, very welcoming about a Kickstarter.
Oh, really? So, wonderful. In other words, you went to on LinkedIn or whatever, Facebook, and found relevant groups and said, hey, do you mind if I share this?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's it. Well, that sounds logical, right? And it wound up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But a lot of our business came straight from. If I look at the backer reports, a lot of it came from Kickstarter itself. They didn't staff pick us. I mean, here's another tip: ask them to staff pick you, but they may not. They didn't. But something I see people doing all the time when they start Kickstarters is when they do the title and description. This is one of these boring details that matter. Don't waste keywords. We made sure we got video games, computer games, online, course, learn, all these words somewhere. It's still got to read right to a person, but don't fill it up with words that people aren't looking for.
The most exciting or whatever and all that kind of stuff. Who cares?
It's got to be words that people are typing in the damn search. Don't waste words in that title or subtitle, because.
But if we want to know how to code, we have to type in complete unitydeveloper.com, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's where you need to go. If you want to, well, that's if you only if you want to learn to code the fun way. If you want to learn to code in a really boring way, then go and learn how to code spreadsheets or databases or something else.
That kind of stuff.
And it'll help you get to sleep, but it won't get you.
Well, I'll take Xanax or whatever, but I'd rather go to CompleteUnityDeveloper.com and find out how to code at like a fraction of what's going to cost you anymore, and have fun doing it, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Ben. Thanks for being over there and across the pond, teaching us to have fun.
Thank you.
Take care.
High five.
Now here's an interview that will teach you one of the great ways to solve cash flow problems with your business. Particularly if you have a little consulting business or a service business, relying on customers, you're providing a service. Like this guy was a designer and designing stuff for people. And it'd be, you get a lot of business or no business, or how do I do this? And waiting for people and customers to pay you. You're always waiting for that money. So he said, how could I get a product? Well, he went on the internet. And when he went on the internet, he got over $70,000 and has something to sell every day, no matter what's going on. So he has more control over his cash flow. And the product was really just a deck of cards, and he didn't have to have the deck of cards made. He just had to have it designed. And so he spent a few $100 or whatever into this thing. And actually, in 2 days on the internet, he got over $13,000. Then about 30, 40 days or whatever, the end of that short time period was, he got $70,000. I mean, God, this is the kind of stuff that's out there. And he didn't spend any money on hiring experts. He went on a crowdfunding site, did a little video, did the whole video himself, didn't spend money on it. And he'll tell you, and you'll see how important it is, number one, to be authentic, to treat your customers with incredible respect, because each of his customers brought him new customers. And so how well he treated that person. And all he's doing is asking him for help up front. So when he goes on the internet and asks for money, he's not even delivering a product yet. He just said, hey, if you buy this in advance, then I could go make them for everybody. And that's what he's doing, and that's how he grew it. $70,000. Could you imagine how many clients he would have to service for $70,000? And now he's got this big chunk of money right up front before he even does the work. I mean, what's better than that? And the biggest problem, particularly if you're in a service business, because it's always that cash flow. You're selling your time. And there's only so much you have, and everybody wants it at one time, and then what happens when nobody wants it? So you think of a product. You think of something that doesn't require your time to do it every time a new customer comes in. So how do you test if that new product is sellable? Well, it costs no money at all to put it on the internet on one of these crowdfunding sites and see if anybody's interested in buying it. So he's got thousands of people now that said, hey, we're interested in buying this thing, and here's the money to help you make it, and send it to us. What a deal. So that's why there's so many ways now to solve business problems or entrepreneur problems or cash flow problems or whatever. So watch how he did it. Well, Douglas Kuzer of BrainVessel.com. But you're really an artist. And actually, I saw the tattoos on your arm a little bit. That's great.
That's history.
My son and I just got these little tattoos. First tattoo at 70 years old. So that was cool. But as an artist, I mean, you were selling your skill, right? I mean, that was basically what you were doing, and artists and design and stuff like that. And, on a contract basis, you've been an entrepreneur your whole life, and all kind of, I guess, art-related businesses, whether sign businesses and stuff like that. Creative. And so now you're figuring out, because you and your buddy who were artists together, that the up and down of selling services was a little insecure, and you were looking for a way to do that, to level that out with a product instead of selling hourly time or something like that. And you went and got, almost $70,000 on the internet for cards. I mean, you're making cards, right?
But a lot of good artwork and a lot of time.
Absolutely. Well, you don't get $70,000 just for being pretty yourself. You got to have some. Yeah, have to earn it. But they're just gorgeous. I mean, it's what is it? Seas and water and.
It's a nautical themed.
Nautical themed cards.
Nautical themed deck with pirates and all the good stuff.
Well, how did you get? Look, there's almost 2,000 people that give you this money. I mean, and they don't even have the cards yet. You're going to fill it out soon, right?
So you have to, with any type of crowdfunder, you have to stay communicated with the people that you're talking to. And anyone that's giving you money, treat them with respect, because they're buying something from you. So it's all about honesty and communication throughout the process. And the 2,000 backers happened because, the first 2 backers were happy and they shared it, and then 10 people, 10 backers, and then they start sharing it. And we did little contests here and there. We ran a contest for to become a pirate on the card, so we ran a Blackbeard contest. That became Blackbeard is now a good. I would call him a friend now. I can rely on him. We have crew members that we got out of it for our next campaign that we plan on doing on Kickstarter. So we kind of grew this into a family, starting with 1 backer, ending in 1,800 backers plus an additional 200 or 300 people after that. And now
did you hire like publicists and marketing people to do all this?
No, it was myself, and we were told not to launch it around Christmas time. And it wasn't because people weren't going to spend. It was, we found out later, it was because it's really hard to respond when you're at dinner with your family, and it's exciting though, because you get to share that experience with your family. I think we launched on the 22nd of December, or somewhere around there. Yeah. and we did it because we were told that we couldn't, that we should.
You're
So
just a
we did
pain
it
in the ass
because-
kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I just wanted to prove that you could,
Yeah.
and it became hugely successful quick, and we kept up with the, with the whole brain vessel thing. We kept up with the rolling seas, and there's always obstacles lying ahead, but we tackled each one of them, and with the people that we attracted along the way, we were able to produce produce our product. We already delivered it,
Wow.
sent out over 2,000 packages, and ended up gaining a lot of friends and stuff off of it. And we now have a store on our website.
And that's brain vessel. We'll get you there, right?
Yep.
Doc?
Yep.
But more importantly, when this started, I mean, so on the 22nd of December, you were hoping for a total of $13,000, and you said you got that in 30 hours. So
Yeah.
like by Christmas Eve, you had your $13,000. So you didn't want to mess with the Christmas tree. You want to watch that ticker going on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think by Christmas Eve we were actually up to over 30,000.
Wow.
And so it was a good Christmas,
Yeah.
with the family and stuff. But it was also taxing because I knew the importance of making sure that since we were the newbies in the playing card crowdfunding area space, that we needed to be very honest with these people and make sure that we were communicating to get more.
Yeah.
And here we are.
So one of the keys that sounds like you're telling me is that fast and personal responses to every customer inquiry, order, whatever it is, and not to treat people just as numbers as they come through the door. Huh?
Well, you figure if you loan someone $20, you want to hear back from them, right? So
Right.
that's in a sense,
Yeah.
they want to hear back from you because they're investing some money
Yeah.
into you doing what you want to do,
Yeah.
and you have to respect that, I think. And a lot of people don't respect that in the crowdfunding platform, but a majority of the ones that you get quality output from, they really care about what they're doing, and they've used this tool to make that happen for them. So,
But it seems like also you've used this now to start your whole career on a whole new field that looks more promising than what you were doing before, looks more secure than what you're doing before, and it makes you happier than what you were doing before, right?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, like you had mentioned earlier, one of the problems was cash flow as a client-based service company. We love doing work. We love doing creative in general and animation. We do animation, and we have a national brand that we're working on right now. And that client, it was like those clients are not easy to get when you just start out in business. So the goal was, fighting for $2,000 or $3,000 jobs to support us.
Yeah.
The work of trying to get that money out of them, trying to get them to work
Yeah.
with you and get the job done. We had to come up with a way to build sustainability for later down the road. So when those clients are gone, how do we live?
Right.
So if all the clients get wiped out and we have no more contacts, what do we do? So this was a catalyst for us, or the bridge, to kind of get us to the point where let's see how long it'll take us we'll do the client work, and we'll do the sweat, we'll burn the sweat equity and put all the effort into it and not take a dime from it, just make it happen so we can grow it into something. And that's exactly what we did, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I love what we've created. And now, within that stretch of time, we were able to land one real good client.
Wow.
That
So
we get to still do what we love, but we get to do our stuff.
But so in addition to the $70,000 or whatever you got, you also got another client. I mean, it's a way to get. So you got free marketing out of this to get more clients.
Well, that
in
was
addition
actually
to money.
separate. That was actually separate. However, I think it was, when things are going well and you build momentum, you have a tendency to be attracted to more or magnetic to good opportunities, and you take them and you run with them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't meant to be. Was it the universe? I have no idea, but it is what
But
it is.
you got it anyway. That's the
My
important.
motto, your question mark on your hand, and I have a tattoo that says it'll all work out.
Oh, hey.
That's my motto. So
Yeah. Well,
Work
it
hard,
does,
work
because
hard.
we all work out. We're going to all leave here one way or another, so
That's
might as
right.
well leave having fun, you know. And that's
Yep.
the other thing. So I mean, I guess then you had effort involved in the cards, but you know, developing the project for Kickstarter to get the money. But if it failed, then you really didn't lose a whole lot except for your time, right?
Well, yeah, you lose your time, you lose your ego, you lose a lot of
No,
things.
no.
To be honest, I mean, when you put, we had
Yeah.
spent, well, Jason had spent from August until December, probably 20 to 30 hours a week
Wow.
that whole time just to
Yeah.
prepare for that. We knew we were, I'm not going to sound cocky or anything,
Yeah.
but we knew we would meet our goal.
I see. Yeah.
My estimate of how much we were going to raise was about $50,000. I wanted to raise a 50,000 goal. So in my mind, I
You
knew
had
what I
50,
needed to
yeah.
do to try to raise that 50,000, and I would fight until I got to that
Yeah.
point. So we actually kind of backed down a little bit on the
Ah.
Kickstarter because we got a little nervous that there was one piece that we wouldn't be able to accomplish if we met our stretch goal.
I see.
So we kind of did at the end, kind of backed off a little bit.
If too many pretty girls come through the door, I can't take care of all of them.
That's right. I mean, you know what it's like. Come on, when you walk in with a suit like that, you know that happens.
Well, that's a nice problem to have. Well, Douglas, you're a delight, and thank you for sharing that with us. And it's important, I think, for all of us to learn something like that. How it takes effort, but it can be done. There's more than one way to solve any problem, and that's what you did. You saw your business wasn't going. Hey, let's try this. Completely new, completely different. It may work, it may not, but screw it. Let's do it. And
Know your value.
Yeah.
Know your value, and maintain your integrity.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
be honest. And you know what? Soon you'll be able to go home or leave your home for work, and you love doing what you're doing.
Nothing better than that. Man, can't wait to get up in the morning to try this again.
And then when you're bored, you can go play cards with
Play
our
cards,
cards.
right? And to get those, it's brianvessel.com.
Brain vessel.
Brain vessel. Either
Yeah,
one.
brain-
vessel.
this part of your
it's
brain.
the brain. This brain. Yeah, mine doesn't work that much. Brainvessel.com. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you for being there. Old Pennsylvania guy. That's where I'm from.
Thank you, Matthew.
You bet. Now, we need more people in this country who know how to code for computers. And everybody thinks, oh, I got to be a PhD in engineering or go to MIT. Nonsense. You know, you can learn it yourself. You can learn it easy. And we're dying to have people to fill these. We can't fill jobs. And these jobs for coding are $50, $60, $70, $80, $100,000 to start a year. You know, and so instead of going to these courses where people are going to charge you something, you can learn a lot of this yourself. It's easy, particularly as long as you have the desire. And here's another guy who's been teaching people on the web, and he's raising money to do it on the web and getting money because so many people want to do this now. I mean, for every job available, man, they can't fill it. There's 5 jobs for every one person that's available to work. So that means 4 jobs are going unfilled out of 5, you know, and we need people. So here's a guy who'll teach you doing it the fun way. In other words, anytime you get in an organization and whatever, you know, it's going to be boring as hell, right? Because they're going to want to solve some bureaucratic problem, and they're going to take the fun out of it. So these people that put courses on the internet and put it in a fun way to learn. And this guy says he taught his mother how to do animation on the computer. Now, wouldn't that be a kick? To write little, dancing bears in your emails or whatever the heck you want to do. And it takes nothing but your time and interest to learn how to do these kinds of things. And that's what I see so much on the internet now. Everybody I talk to that's getting money on the internet, doing fun things in life now are teaching themselves. I mean, I talked to another guy this morning who was studying ancient philosophy or something, and he invented a new chair. He didn't know anything about it. He just figured it out. And that's why that's the new way to learn. On the internet, it's possible to learn anything, anytime you want, all by yourself. And then there's helpful people who don't charge you an arm and a leg to get over any hurdles or organize it for you in a nice way to learn. So watch this guy. He's a pleasant fellow, and he's got dozens of courses doing this. And the most important, that he's now raising money on the internet. He got a bunch of thousands of dollars, so he could create more courses for people because of the demand for this. So watch it. Well, Ben Fala! And actually, the website, you gave me a website, smarturl.it, and then geeking/geeking, Geeking, right? So that's perfect for a guy like you with dyslexia, that you get a fun website to talk about. But you're going to teach my grandmother how to code in animation, aren't you? But you did teach your own mother, right? And she was able to do this. So you got this great course that teaches the average person how to make anything on the webpage and email and anything. Great cartoons, and who wouldn't want that? And to learn from a guy like you say it's so easy. Why? So how did you get into doing this? You want to animate the world?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh, then forget it.
I think I just ended up doing it. I think I did it when the internet was new. I wanted to move things around, and it was fun. And then suddenly people wanted to pay me for it, and I was like, oh, cool.
So now
I
you
actually,
think.
I didn't even know that I had a skill. Like I remember when my first job, I worked in an ice cream store. And it just happened, and it was like, oh wow, it's like that's an upgrade to my career. Then I started working for television stations and Congress and
Oh
PIM.
wow! So
And it
so
was
this was a skill you just. I mean, you're not. Are you a MIT engineer or something or what? No.
I was just a nerdy little kid that enjoyed his computer growing up.
And now you're teaching other people how to really control, because coding is what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, now I see that in data recently, for every 5 jobs available, there's only one person we can hire for them in coding. So this is a way not only to have fun with the computer, because you can build your own caricatures or cartoons, but to see how you can use your computer more too, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. I think programming should be something that people learn in first
Yeah,
grade. I think it's this day and age is as important as writing skills. I think
yeah,
programming today, any job you take today is getting or moved to a robot to do it instead of
right.
you, or you need to do it better.
Yeah,
And when you know programming, you just could do anything better because you could have the computer automate things for you that you would have need to do yourself. But the only problem is that programming isn't very easy to learn if you just learn it the traditional way. So I'm
uh,
always trying to find out new ways how to make it more accessible and more fun. If it's teaching my mom, if it's learning how to animate, because that's really what I enjoy doing. I program not because I enjoy programming. I program because I enjoy creating things. So
I see. Yeah.
so I figured let's create things together from day one, from the first 10 minutes. Let's animate stuff. Let's make things move, which makes it exciting, I think.
Well, you're so convinced about this that you have an offer now on Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that for as little as $10, I can start learning how to do this. Yeah, I mean, that's what's amazing to me, because I go online and look for courses because I think, oh, maybe I should learn more because I'm an old programmer and stuff that doesn't work anymore, and I should learn it. And these courses are thousands of dollars they could be, right? So for $10, I could get a little skill that could really use forever. Huh?
Absolutely, and you're right. And it's part of my mission. I know these type of courses usually cost hundreds or thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. It's the goal to make it accessible and fun, and part of making it accessible is making it affordable. And Kickstarter is an awesome place because it helps make that happen. Because you need a lot of people to buy in for it to be able to be that cheap.
Ah, right. Well, that's it. And you were hoping for $1,000. You already got $4,000. Yeah. So, I mean, what occurs to me when I see this, okay, so you're a smart guy, you think, hey, I can raise $1,000 maybe to get this, but it's 4,000. So that means you're really not very bright, that you didn't know you could make so much money out of this stuff. Or you just
You're on to me.
But I mean, and the website you have there is so clever. I mean, did you hire an animator or anybody like that to do this, or you just did it all yourself?
I love that question. Thanks. Because you know what it was? I decided I'm doing a Kickstarter, and it was like a spur of the moment kind of thing. I decided I'm doing it. I said, if I just procrastinate, oh, that's a hard word. If I just,
We know what you mean.
just edit that out, right? So if I just like delay and delay, I'm never gonna do it. So I just decided I'm just gonna go live. I'm gonna just put whatever comes out of my head. I recorded myself talking, everyone was complaining. Obviously I sent it to all my friends for feedback, and everyone said it was horrible, which motivated me to try to make it better. So then I spent like 3 days redoing that video to try to make it appealing, and until I saw that it works.
Well, it does work. I mean, that's why the proof is in the pudding. You know, you made your goal already, so people want this stuff. And what's so neat about it, it's for people that never thought they could code, it seems. I mean, and that's the most important thing, I think, in our life. I mean, you know, it's like, well, you know, I can't write poetry, but man, you struggle. And sure, you're not going to be, you know, the national poet or everything, but it's enough. It's sort of like driving a car. You need to know how to drive a car in this country to get somewhere, you know. So you're not going to be a race car driver, but enough. You could figure it out enough, you know, to get where you want to go.
I was like, you know, in these 3 years that I've been doing these type of trainings for the last 3 years, we had students that from people that had brain injury that
Wow.
were just relearning their skills from the beginning, to senior citizens, to children like 10, 12 years old, to all the way to you know, and the gamut is really large, from professionals all the way to complete amateurs, and it's our courses are very different than other people because our aim is to all those people, and we kind of always come up with a different product, and this product is probably my most ambitious one because it's 6 courses, and
Wow.
2 of them are for completely new people that have no clue what programming is. 2 are for people that know how to program but have no clue how to animate, and 2 courses are for people that are really sharp developers that do animate but want to do it even better. So it's a really massive collection because we're trying to hit all those type of users. So in many ways, if you don't know how to program and you go and you take this bundle, this is going to follow through with you for the next few years. It's not going to be something you're going to forget about once you start using it. So it's a massive collection.
And it's a website I come back to all the time, and for help. I mean, your website's if I'm trying to learn how to, you know, make this guy smile and laugh at me or something on our website, and then I could go to you and you answer my questions, right?
Oh, absolutely. You could also complain if I didn't shave some days, because some students, some students do that. You can do whatever you, and I'll reply back. So, but
And
basically, yes, it's live support.
And I can correct your misspellings, or
Oh, I love those, especially if it's done with an attitude. Then I love those.
well, it's just delightful, and you're a delightful character, and also your passion to try to help people get to this code, because and particularly even older people like me, I mean, I feel I'm going to be here 20, 30 more years, so I got to learn this stuff, otherwise the world's going to be passing by. I want to be relevant, you know. I don't want to be the old guy in Florida throwing vegetables at the television, you know, complaining.
What's awesome is, like, you're already animated, so you don't even have to learn a new skill. You already got it. You're there already.
Yeah, but that's for TV, not for online, so that's why you're going to teach me how to make my my website look like me.
Yes, I love that. Exactly.
So when I send out an email, I can have, it's free.
Wouldn't that be awesome? You already have. I like your website right now that you're like.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for everything you do, Ben, and I think you're important in our community, because coding is what it's all about. Anybody's afraid of coding at all, this is a good way to have fun learning about code and enhance your life and the people around you, and maybe even start a whole new career. And to do that, you go to SmartURL, SMARTURL.IT/ Geeking, Geeking. That's where to get it. And it's only $10. Get it for Christmas. Get it for, I mean, you must have a kid in your life who plays with computers. He's going to love this, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you again. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now, there's a lot of artists in this country, all kinds, singers, dancers, painters, graphic artists, sculptors, or whatever, the poets, writers, they're all artists. And everybody thinks that, boy, if I'm an artist, if I want to get a grant from the government, I have to go to the National Endowment of the Arts. Well, that's true, but that's just one place, and there are other places that artists can go. And don't forget, every state has artists' money, like the National Endowment of the Arts, but at the state level, so you have to check there. And then also remember government contracts. The government buys more artwork, than anybody else, whether it's a painting in their wall or if you're a writer to write something, and that's available. But also, now here's the other place, is the Economic Development Office. There are states, particularly local states, and local communities and economic development areas in certain areas that have money for artists to be employed by themselves. The struggling artist. Well, why be a struggling artist? You're going to create something in the economy if you're not struggling, right? So maybe you'll hire somebody. So there's money to help you make a business out of your art. Give you something recurring that gives you money over and over again. Now here's an artist, that got about $3,000, $2,500 to do a video on how to paint people, or something like that. It was a how-to video. So as an artist, she could create income. So they give her all the money to help start this little business, And actually that program is not only for artists, it's for nonprofit organizations, even for for-profit organizations or whatever. It's to help culture. I mean, that's what art is about, to preserve our culture. So that's why artists now have to look at other than the obvious places. That's where the opportunities are. If nobody else is looking there, man, then if you're the only one in line, you're going to get the money. So watch her and learn how she got that money. So you can too. Look in the right places. Watch. So Annie, what's your full name?
Annie Strack.
Okay, Annie. And what do you do?
I'm an artist. I specialize in maritime paintings and seascapes.
An artist that specializes in maritime paintings and seascapes. That's great. And what medium, what kind of art do you do with seascapes?
Mostly watercolors. I dabble in oils and acrylics a little bit and mixed media, but mostly watercolors.
Wow. And you said you just came up here from Louisiana, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you like Louisiana?
Oh, I loved it. We've been maybe moved 7 times, I think.
Oh, really?
So we've lived all over the U.S. and we lived overseas for a while, but Louisiana, New Orleans is my favorite.
I think it's like going to another country, New Orleans, and it's just wonderful. The people, you see the faces are just so different than you see anywhere else in the country. Yeah, I think it's a special place. How's it coming back?
I think pretty good. I think we're doing very well down there. Everyone's rebuilding. The economy is bouncing back, I think, better than the rest of the country.
Really? Yeah, we're all in the pits everywhere.
I mean, it's still bad in Louisiana, but it's bouncing back really fast and strong.
Now, you got a government financing for doing something. Explain to us what you got.
I got a grant from the Louisiana Cultural Economy Foundation, and it's specifically for cultural providers, nonprofits, businesses, and individuals who work in the cultural industry, whether they be artists or musicians or performers, and it's for economic development. So my grant was...
Sorry?
My grant was as an individual artist to expand my business.
So you got a grant to expand your business because you were in the cultural-related industry. So you could have been an individual artist or a business, like maybe a gift shop or an art gallery. Pardon me?
Yeah, even for-profit businesses can apply for these grants.
I see. Wow. And what did you do with the grant? I mean, what was it for? Like, what was your why did they give you the money besides just being a great lady? Huh?
Well, actually, there are grants that are available just because you're awesome. I never got one of those grants.
I see.
Apparently, I'm not awesome enough.
Right.
But my grant was a project grant, which most grants are. They're for specific projects. And my project was to create a video, an instructional video, and my video was how to paint seascapes.
Wow.
And this video was something that I could then sell. It's something that I put on television, on public access TV, and it helps me. It provides income. Selling the video provides income, but it also provides a product that other artists that are emerging can learn from. So it was educational, but also an economic grant.
So you got, putting on your business hat, you got money to develop a new product to sell, right? So if that was your business side, but now your artist side is with the product, right? So, and the product was an instructional video on how to paint landscapes and seascapes?
Yes.
Wow, that's terrific. How long is the video?
55 minutes.
55 minutes. Well, how do people find that? I mean, if we get people excited about that video, where do we find that?
Actually, you can order it on my website.
And what's that? AnnieStrackArt.com.
There's a link at the top that says videos. Now take it to the ordering page to buy a video. The videos are $24.95.
And how much again?
$24.95.
Wow, very reasonable. And you got money from the government, to produce that video. And how much was it? Can I ask?
My grant was $2,500.
Wow.
Which is the maximum for an individual artist. Businesses and nonprofits could apply for up to $5,000.
Wow.
And that was enough to do one video. But the video provides income. So it's kind of a cyclic grant because this was the seed money that I needed to produce the first video to make that income stream.
Right.
Now I'm getting income from it and I can go ahead and produce more videos.
Exactly.
And so it's a cyclic income, which when you're talking about an economic development grant, that's one of the things they look for.
Yeah, I see. So it's really creating jobs is what this money is all about. Even though you're an artist, that you're getting some seed money to increase your art business, let's say, and then possibly you grow it and you hire new people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a seed money to start a cyclic income and to spread that money out.
How complicated was the application?
It was one of the easiest ones I've done.
Really?
Actually, this one. It's because I also write for nonprofits. I've written some other grants.
Oh, I see. So for nonprofits, they're the complicated ones, right?
Much more complicated. And you're dealing with other people when you're working with nonprofits because you have bookkeepers and accountants that you have to get information back from. But for an individual grant, it's much easier because you're not having to outsource all that. You have all the information at your fingertips. You have your own tax returns. You don't have to go dig them up from somebody else. I see.
So it was just a tax return and then filling out the blanks and writing a statement or something?
Basically, yeah.
Really?
I wrote a one-page narrative. I wrote a budget. You have to outline how you will spend the money and be kind of specific. I'm going to spend this much on this part of the project and this much on this part of the project.
So in other words, you went out and got the price estimates for what it cost maybe to hire a camera person and things like this?
That's exactly what I did.
I see. And then budget that out and say, well, see, this costs like $22.50 or whatever. And because you just went out and priced these things like a normal person would do if they fix up their kitchen, huh?
Exactly. I just got estimates. And the estimates were very vague. I didn't even have a written estimate. I just got vague email estimates. And so they were off a little bit. They didn't actually match what I spent, but it's okay. That's expected. You write your final report on a grant. You actually submit your invoices and your canceled checks so that they can see what you did spend.
Oh, so at the end of the project, that's what you did? You showed the canceled checks and the invoices to show them how you spent the money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
Well, that's reasonable. I mean, I'd probably want that if I gave my kid $2,500 to do something. I want to make sure he wasn't in Acapulco, I guess.
Well, same thing. Yeah, they wanted to make sure I spent the money as I said I was going to.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So, as a taxpayer, I'm appreciative, that they do that. And what do you think is the a lot of people fear dealing with the government at all, and it sounds like you've done this before and things like that. So in your experience, what do you think is like one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about dealing with government money?
I think people think it's a lot more work than it really is. It's a lot easier than people think.
I believe it. I get biased, and I hate to say it. But then again, even if it is difficult, who the heck else is going to give you that money?
That's just it, yeah. And you might get rejected every now and then, but when you do get the money, it makes it so worthwhile. And especially in projects like this where it produces a cyclic income, I would have made my video if I hadn't gotten the grants.
Right.
But getting the grant freed up my profits to spend them somewhere else.
Right. Well, that's great. And also, I think what it is, to me, it's nice to get that affirmation or the reaffirm affirmation or whatever that word is. Somebody thinks you're worth investing in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all we like. Particularly as an artist, I mean, you must, it's tough. I mean, life is tough out there. We get beat up every day, so it's nice to get positive feedback.
Yeah, I'm very good at accepting rejection. I get it all the time.
Oh, really? I got some ex-wives too, but that's what life is. I mean, I wrote about 100 and some books, and only 10 have made anything, I mean, I got garagefuls. If you want to wallpaper your basement, let me know. I'll send you a couple thousand books that I never sold to something. But I think that's what life is about. It is failure and rejection, and that's what I appreciate artists. And you say you're an artist, but you're really an entrepreneur and part of economic development in our country, which I think is the growth area in our country, is the art we have. Because we no longer make stuff too well. But this right brain stuff. Pardon me?
Yeah. In Louisiana, where I got my grant, arts and culture in Louisiana is the biggest part of our economy.
Oh, I see. Well, there it is.
So the money that is spent by taxpayers to make my video goes back into the economy and taxes.
Right.
For every dollar that is spent in Louisiana that the government spends on art and culture, they get a return of $8.
Wow. So they give you $1 and you're bringing in $8 from the for the economy. Oh, yeah, that sounds working. The bank nowadays. Pardon me.
And related items. Culture in Louisiana is the biggest industry.
Mm-hmm. Have you checked out what's available in Pennsylvania yet?
Not yet. I'm still very new here. I'm just getting settled in.
Well, I know, from back when University of Pennsylvania has a program just for women entrepreneurs there to help women entrepreneurs. So if you're and if you just call, the best place to find this kind of stuff is really your local library is probably good. But when in doubt, just call Harrisburg and call the state capital operator and tell them you're a new business in the state and looking for help. And they'll hook you up with somebody local and stuff like that to help you. And now Pennsylvania's pretty progressive in that stuff. Helping entrepreneurs, because it's one of those industrial states that it's over a little bit for most of it. So they got to keep investing in new ideas and trying to find out, where their future is. And so I'm sure there's help and assistance there. Well, you're a delight. So can we see your work on your website?
Absolutely.
Okay, so your work's on the website.
Okay,
right, and I'll put that up on there too. And also, we can buy the DVD if we want to know how to watercolor. Huh? Is it for any level, or do you have to be a master?
No, if you're very advanced, you're going to learn new things. But if you're a beginner, you can easily follow along.
Wow, that's terrific. And you're going after PBS too, huh?
I am. I'm currently on 29 stations throughout the country on public access.
Oh, wonderful! So you're what they call that bicycling it around for at stations. You know, one station, another. No, anyway, maybe that's an old term. 29 stations around the country. That's terrific. And I mean, that's the way. I mean, see, there's, you know, everybody thinks you need a lot of money to do something, but look, you got your instructional video, and you found an outlet already to be on 29 stations around the country. And so you didn't have to spend $5 million for a Super Bowl ad.
No, not at all. Actually, I've spent nothing on advertising at all.
See, that's terrific. Isn't America terrific? Well, say hello to your husband. I hear he works for the Park Service, and that's great work, and we need that in this country too. And thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you, Matthew. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.